Welcome to Occasionally Posh, where we enjoy life, laughs, and shenanigans. I am your girl, Chasi B.
And I'm Sunshine. She killing me. Welcome. welcome, everyone who's joining our live episode this week. We have two guests that joined us, Matthew and Finnell. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Um,
Woohoo!
You will.
we'll get to y'all. We'll let you introduce yourself later, but we always start with what we call a foreplay. So, Chastity, you're first.
Okay, so would you rather be on time for everything or late for everything?
What kind of question is that? I'd rather be on time, but the way I'm set
Yeah,
up.
that's what I'm thinking about.
Be on time like Jesus.
Yeah, I'd rather be on time. Like I don't like my night being long, like prolonged and stuff like that. I got stuff to do.
I feel you. I feel you. What about you, Jess?
I'd rather be late. Oh,
That's because you always late. Oh man. All right, mine is: would you rather be poor and in love or rich and single?
this in love thing. Is it like real love or is it like puppy love?
It's that Mary J. Blige love, okay?
Yeah.
Real love.
Toxic, isn't it?
Oh,
That's toxic. Toxic.
mm.
I don't hear nobody. Somebody. Matthew.
I gotta watch what I say though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess pulling in love. I guess.
He don't mean it.
I don't know, man.
What about you, Vanille?
I mean, technically speaking, you said poor and in love, or rich or single.
Rich
I'm gonna
and
be
single.
rich and single, and I'm gonna be married to the money, man. I'm gonna be in love with the money.
Respect. I respect.
What about you, Chess?
If it's that Mary J. Blige love, I don't know. I don't want to be poor though.
Yeah, she thinking real hard.
Rich and single.
Rich and single. So when y'all get old, y'all gonna be in a nursing home by yourself.
We didn't say we was gonna be by ourselves. We said single. There is a difference.
Facts.
I don't know. Be on the porch with them. Be on the porch with them little cats and stuff like that.
Right.
And the rocking chairs and stuff.
Right.
And once again, you did say rich and single. You can still be in love with somebody and be single enough.
Yeah, for a short period of time.
You got
not forever though. Not forever.
If you want to, you can.
Oh, okay. You must be open. Anywho. All right. So we're gonna join in for our topic segment. But first we're gonna let you guys introduce yourselves. So whoever want to go first.
Matthew Golston. I am 33 years old. I'll be 34 in August. I'm a Leo, musician, full-time single father. I'm saved, but I do like, having fun, stuff like that. I'm not super saved. I don't have an S on my chest.
I just thinking he on Tinder.
But yeah, I just like having fun. Really chill guy. I don't really judge too much, man. And yeah, that's who I am.
I feel you. All right.
My name is Finnell Sutton. I'm a Leo. I live long walks on the park.
Yes, sir.
Long walks on the beach.
And he said he want to be single. No, go ahead.
Stupid.
I am the owner of the game store. I sell sports apparel, shoes, and all that stuff. But the game also stands for God always manages everything. And that is where I am on my journey in life now. I give everything to God, let him do the rest.
I know that's right.
Sure.
That's right. We got some saved men on here today.
Nice.
They're gonna be saved on here at least. No,
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to get into some interesting posts that we found on Facebook. But first, I looked up some questions that the list said questions that women are afraid to ask men. So I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. But the first one was, what is one thing in relationships that women do that men actually don't like?
Can I go first? Please
Go
let me
for
go
it.
first. Yo, that whole not knowing what y'all want to eat stuff, man. That's gotta go. That's gotta go, man. I'm telling you, man. It's bad because we gotta start planning like a week ahead, like what we eating Saturday. Like, come on.
It's really not that hard though. It's really not that hard. If we don't know what we don't want to eat, you should know what we want to eat. You already know our likes and dislikes, where we like to go and where we don't like to go. You should already have it chosen. It's not that hard.
I don't know about that. Because we run down the whole strip and be like, you want this, you want this. Nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. I done ran from here to the next county over.
Nah. Oh man, what about you, Finnell?
All right, I'm going way deeper than that.
Okay.
Women got to stop. Women have to stop feeling like that their feelings trumps the men in the relationship. And what I mean by that, there's a stigma in society that men are not allowed to express how we feel. And if we do, we too sensitive, we too emotional, all that type of stuff. I've had a conversation with a female a few months back, and she told me that she said that she talked to men any kind of way only for the fact that they're men. I feel like y'all can take it. And I'm like, no, if you don't want me to talk to you or treat you in a certain manner, it's a two-way street. Right. It's the same way.
Right. I agree.
Totally agree.
I agree with that as well. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with that.
Strong.
I know, right? I agree with that as well. The problem for me, and I agree with that totally. The problem for me is that it's hard for me to communicate with the opposite sex. I'm very forthcoming. Like if I'm feeling that way, we're gonna talk about it right then and there. We're gonna get it over with. Blase. A lot of men, not saying y'all, but a lot of men like to process first instead of talk about it in the moment.
I do.
right. I think about it for a second. Right.
Which is fine, but a lot of them don't even like to come back and discuss it even after they've processed it. And that right there is one of my issues. Like I want a man that's able to express his feelings and tell what I'm doing wrong as well as me tell him what he's doing wrong. I can't find those type of men. Like
we out here, I promise you. We out here.
Look, and that's what they
got
say.
No problem
that's
with discussing. What they say. Like, I have no problem with discussing what's going on. Like I actually don't like going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We upset with each other and stuff like that, and we ain't talking for 2 days and stuff like that. Like that's foolish. You know what I'm saying? We all grown adults, so
right. And I feel like it ain't what you say most of the time, it's how you say it. So long as you express it in the right way, then you can talk about it even when you're mad. But a lot of people are like, no, I got to cool off first. I might say something I'm gonna go regret. And I'm like, but we in a relationship though. Like, like once you come together, you should be able to.
I think too many times we try to, instead of having the conversation to fix the issue, I think we have the conversation to get our point across.
Right.
And that's not good, because we're the salute, like the whole meaning of you discussing the thing is trying to fix it, not for you to see my way and then like so I can say I told you so, or like there's a lot of that going around.
Right.
So.
Right. The other problem for me is that what happened to agreeing to disagree?
Why you disagreeing with me though? That's what I want to
really know. Like sometimes you're just not gonna see eye to eye, so it's okay.
Right.
Like long as we,
right.
long as I respect how you feel, long as you respect how I feel, it's okay.
Right.
Like we ain't got to be on the same page every argument, like every single time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This is very true. Very true. All right, what's your next question?
Hi. So how can we, 'cause a lot of times people say what fails in a relationship is communication. And just to be honest, women and men just communicate different overall. So
True.
how can women communicate better with men? Like what are y'all needing?
All right, for me, it goes back to what I said earlier. Understand that we have feelings too. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Once again, there's a book that I was given years ago by a good friend of mine, and there were two of them. The Five Love Languages was a big one, but there was another one called His Needs, Her Needs: How to Build an Affair-Proof Marriage, and it spoke about all of this stuff at the same time too about the communication. It has to be there. If you want somebody to do something for you, you got to figure out how to convey the message. You can't just say that, oh, you ain't watched the dishes today. Damn, like, come on. You got to say, baby, I love it when you wash the dishes for me, man. I'm like, it just does something to my spirit. I'm just
That
saying.
does
I'm like,
not work.
you got to figure out how to do it. Hey. So
that goes with knowing
how
your
you
partner
say it.
too. Like you got to know your partner too. Like you can talk a certain way to somebody else, but it can be totally different to somebody else. Like
Right.
so.
That's facts.
I agree with that.
That's facts. That's facts. Chastity, you single. What makes dating hard as far as communication?
What makes dating hard as far as communication? For me?
Right. Where does it get to a point where it don't work out?
I am a open book, and I am okay with expressing my feelings and my thoughts and my concerns. And men, so okay, this is what I found. I found that most of the time, by the time I've met a man, he has been broken down by the woman that was the love of his life, and he has not dealt with that internally. And then by the time he meets somebody like me that is able to communicate and able to love them the way that they need to be loved, the way that they've never been loved, they either shut down or they don't communicate at all whatsoever. Like they just back away from it because they get scared. I feel like that's what my issue is.
What kind of comment y'all got for that?
That's deep. It's true because I was that guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always the guys being the dogs. Like, I know me and my personal life, without even going too deep, I went consecutively bad relationship to bad relationship. I'm not saying that I was perfect, you know what I'm saying? But there was a lot of stuff after hindsight looking back, it changed who I was. And so going forward to the next person, I was, without me even doing it consciously, I'm bringing that mentality to the next, you know what I'm saying? And so it started causing problems. And then I started looking at the relationships after those issues, and I was just like, I'm having the same issue relationship after relationship after relationship. It's something wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of people are looking at their selves and why they do what they do, like men wise. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of self-evaluation, honest evaluation would fix a lot of this stuff that's going on, to be honest with you. It's my opinion.
Right. And on the flip side of that, women allow things to happen as well. So what's wrong with us that we allowing this to happen?
The same reason that he was able to do the things that he was doing, because women jump from relationship to relationship and don't fall back in love with their self. Every time that you're in a relationship, you lose yourself. So you got to find yourself after you get out of that relationship. You got to recenter. And a lot of the times we don't recenter. You get over one by getting under one, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Like that right there is women's mentality. And you just keep going until you take it, even though you don't want to take it, but you ain't got back to your center.
Right.
I feel like I was guilty of that. I was definitely guilty of that.
Go ahead.
What did you say, Finnell?
Honestly, with that being said, there's actually a statement that you're making that rings true, and I never really understood that about what you just said about women, about that y'all never take the time to go back to love y'all self. I know that as men, it's not just the back. I had to realize that for myself, I can never give a woman 100% in a relationship because I still wasn't where I wanted to be in life. And that's something that Steve Harvey was preaching, even though a lot of people didn't want to receive his message. And think like a man is true. A man can never really give you 100% until he is content with where he wants to be in life.
Right, right.
Right.
So why do you think men
Now,
can't?
outside of
Why?
Matthew,
Go ahead.
hold on. I was gonna say this. Now, outside of Matthew, I ain't gonna front. I was one of them dogs, one of them dudes, I was the prime example. Leave that one alone. That right there ain't got no act right. I ain't done all of them. But some of them, like, I was in all different ones. I played, I did the playing, I did all the dirt, all of it. So, all of it.
Now I ain't gonna say I was innocent, bro. I ain't gonna say that, but I will say it was because me and Shadad have known each other, Jesus Christ. And like beforehand, I was that innocent guy. You know what I'm saying? And it went from me being innocent to me being hurt to me being, I'm gonna be honest with you, to me being a dog, to me coming out of that, you know what I'm saying, to being who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Am I all the way there now? No, but I'm way better than what I was. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times there's a lot of people that start off innocent, they get in relationships and they get hurt and it starts transforming who they are. You know what I'm saying? And you can never, you gotta, and when you're in that, you don't really see the issue as being you. You know what I'm saying? You got to come out of that thing and just kind of you know what I'm saying? Redo you, press a reset button.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For me, it just lived because I had to really sit one day. I was like, man, I'm going through a lot of relationships. You know what I'm saying? It can't be all of them. Like something's got to be wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Until I really started looking, I was like, well, okay. Well, it was me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just me. That's me. My personal story.
Man, I lied to you now, but Chaz was right. My situation, I was like 20 at the time. The first time I really got my heart broke, boy, I almost died. That changed my whole outlook on relationships. Well, it does. That changed my whole outlook on relationships after that. Man, I had to make that long drive back to the house.
You writing love songs and stuff and all that.
I'm listening to love songs. I remember I'm listening to Alexander O'Neal. If you were here tonight, boy, I had that on repeat, boy. I was about to die that night. It was a long night, but yeah, man, it's one of the things that it's one of them things that we as people, man, men and women, we got to understand our trauma, man. You got to let that baggage go. You got to let it go. But you said self-evaluation. On the flip side of that, accountability, man.
Yes.
You
Sir.
It's not always the other person. You got to realize, I'm like, no, I did that. I did.
Right.
I did that. I ain't had to do it like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I ain't had to cuss her daddy out like that, man. Like,
yo, you stupid, bro. I'm weak.
Man, I ain't had to go put hands on her brother like that. Put up the job and all that stuff. I ain't had to do all of that.
Right.
Nah, I ain't do none of them. I'm the same, man. So, nah, me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, my fault. My problem is I don't like to. I don't know how to communicate. I just be real. Like in my household growing up, it wasn't communicating in my household was arguing, throwing stuff, or whatever, growing up. So, or we just seen a lot of arguing and fighting. So I try so hard to be the opposite of that it makes me not communicate because I don't want to start an argument. Because I'm like, I don't want my kids to see me arguing. I don't want my son to have to go through what I see my mom go through. Blase. So on one side of things, like if I'm mad about something or something going on in the moment, I'll talk about it like, okay, I'm mad because this. I can do that.
Yeah.
But if it's something deep down that's like, that I feel like is going to be a page turner for the relationship, if that makes sense, then I'm really, I hold it in. Like, I'm like, ugh. Am I
But
really
you see
ready?
how that early childhood transformed your thinking though? That
Mhm.
transformed you to make you who you are today. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking. We never get past that point.
Right.
Like,
Right.
And
And
we
we said
actually had a really good episode 2 weeks ago. Y'all go back and check that episode out. We talked about traumas, childhood
yeah,
trauma, and how
yeah.
it relates to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we don't realize, especially
Now,
in our community, especially in the
all
Black
right,
community, we don't
okay.
realize how much it really
Yes.
changes us as people. And
It
then we don't
affects
want to
us.
go talk to
All right,
therapists.
so question.
We want to keep it all in. We got to keep it in the household. You know, therapist, what's that?
Fennell got a question. Let's hear
Go ahead
this.
for it. Go
Okay, I have a question. Okay, so since y'all talking about childhood traumas, I'm on another podcast called "Can I Be the Man?" Shout out to my homeboy Ron. He go by King Nag. You can also shameless plug. You can find the book on Amazon. Can I Be the Man?
Wait,
And
stupid.
a letter from us to you. So with that being said, one of our early episodes, that's the question that I posed. So I'm gonna ask y'all on this panel tonight. Why is it so taboo for us to speak on child molestation and all this stuff in the Black community? I noticed that I had this conversation with a lot of people, and especially me, that I did not know that had been molested before. I didn't know that sexual assault and all this stuff ran so rampant in our community, but we sweep it under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know why.
Embarrassment. I don't know.
I think so. I was a person, I was never sexually molested as a child. I was one of the lucky ones. But I have so many friends that was, and I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them, they don't want to embarrass their parents now. That's why a lot of them don't bring it up. And then it was always what happens in the house stays in the house. You're not supposed to tell what happens. You're not supposed to go out and tell everybody everything and all this kind of stuff. And I think now we've come to where we talk about stuff more, but then people are still scared to talk about what happened back in the day because they don't want to embarrass their parents. They don't want their parents to know, this happened under your nose and you missed it.
Yeah. I don't know though. I've been around a lot of folks who were, and a lot of parents did know. Like, just to be real, like a
Yeah,
lot of
that
parents
too.
seen signs. A lot of people seen it. So and so was in the room with them when they weren't supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of just put our blinders on because it's like, I don't know.
Because
It's
it probably happened to them as well. So it was
right,
their norm.
right.
That's sad. Jesus
It
Christ.
really
They're
is. It really is. And when I was growing up, just to be honest, a lot of Black families were afraid of social services. Like, anything that's gonna bring social service in our household, where a case is gonna be open, and the neighbors gonna know, like, you
Don't
know what I'm
bring these
saying?
people to my house.
Right. So I think that's a lot to do with it as well. We don't want people in our business. We don't want people judging us. We don't want the church members to know. We don't want the friends to know. Blase. But at the end of the day, are you putting yourself in the front or are you putting your child first? Like,
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Exactly.
You mess with my child
Yeah,
wrong. It's on.
right.
Like, and
I think it may honestly
my
too, and
son,
I
my
don't have
son still
any.
think that somebody is dead.
I'm weak, yo. I honestly, I don't have any experience in that, obviously, but I think also, like, I think it's a fear of saying it out loud to somebody and they not believing you, and then, you know what I'm saying, now it's a bigger issue.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard of people, you know what I'm saying, actually coming out with such and such this to me, and they're like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And then there's a bigger problem, and I think we try to avoid that, sometimes, which causes you to internally, you know what I'm saying, digestion. That's not good. You know what I'm saying? It causes mental issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I agree as well. Oh, that's good. All right, one more question from Melissa, and then I'll be quiet. So the last one of the other things that was interesting is that women, one of the top 3 questions that women wants to know is, why do men ghost them?
Look,
That man got ghost for real.
Finnell, you want to go? You want to answer that, bro?
Honestly, I want to say, why do women be ghosting us, man? I'm like, I've had some women disappear too. All right, I'm not gonna put that out there. I mean, all right. Stay focused on the topic at hand. Why do men ghost women? I can't say just necessarily from my experience, because I don't think that not unless I got to go years and years and years. Boy,
that boy hurt. Look at him. He going
nah. Actually, no. Honestly, I'm trying to think. I said, have I ever ghosted anybody? That's what I'm trying to think about. But I've known men that have ghosted women, and some of it is normally due to the fact that some of them I'm like, they be cheating anyway. They already got somebody. That's number one for the most part. The other one is sometimes they don't really want to hurt somebody's feelings. They don't want to tell them what they can do to fix anything, what can make their situationship, because we ain't gonna call it a relationship, we're gonna call it situationship. What can make it better. And then some of it was just about the draws at the end of the day. I got what I want. Deuces. That's it.
Which that's been said before.
Or you just lost interest. Yeah.
But don't y'all know that not, and I ain't saying this is y'all, cause I know women do it as well, but I can only ask y'all from y'all perspective. But don't y'all know that not saying something actually makes things worse for both parties?
How?
But yeah, what do you mean by that?
Because,
like,
hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So instead of just straight,
I believe I know.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I believe I know. So if I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. Okay, so I believe it's one of the things. I just know that when you start ghosting people, it leads too much speculation and doubt.
Yeah.
And
right.
and it started to play on people's insecurities. I'm like, damn, what did I do? Did I not call enough? Did I not come by enough? Was I too consumed with work? Did I not put it on them enough? Did I not do X, Y, Z? Am I too boring in the bed? What? What was the breaking point that made you not want to let me know that it just wasn't working out?
Right. Yeah, when I asked that, because like to me, ghosting means you just up and disappear, and you don't say why, or don't even say that that's what it is. And for men, a lot of the times when they're ghosted, it, like you said, Fidel, it's like y'all think of, what was I not doing right? What is blase? Sometimes for women, not for me, but sometimes for women, when you ghost, it's just, oh, he don't have time for me right now, but it's always there. And then women bother y'all. And then you like, this girl just won't get the point. And it's because you didn't tell her. So then y'all say, oh, she clingy.
This is true.
Or she can't get the point. Or she doing this. Or blah, talking to your boys about it. But she don't know. I mean, she should get the point. Let's just be real. But you never communicated it.
Right.
Then you laid up with your boo, and all of a sudden, Taquisha send you a message at 3 a.m. talking about what's up, and she like, what's she doing texting you? And you like, I don't know why she texting me. I ain't talked to her in a long time. And then of course, new boo ain't gonna believe it, because why she texting you at 3 o'clock? But Taquisha don't know that you done moved on, because you didn't say nothing.
Wow.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm listening on this one.
Yeah, I agree that a lot of times we don't communicate because we don't want to hurt feelings. But at the end of the day, you would cause way less drama if you just told it like it was. And that's for men and women. That's not just for y'all. Yeah. That's not just for us.
Yeah.
Like, we need to think of long term instead of short term. We like, oh, if I avoid it, it'll be all right. And that ain't how the world works.
Right.
Like, just tell them
it could be like super simple too. It could be super simple too. Like somebody could just lose interest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, I'm not feeling this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you don't want to just say that, because it makes you look like an a-hole to say that to somebody. So you just kind of just move on, but you're making the situation worse. So I don't know, man. There could be a million things, to be honest with you.
Right.
But sometimes, you just gotta be the adult in the situation, and you just gotta put it out there on the table.
Right.
That's what's wrong with society now, man. Basically, I'm gonna say this statement, and it's probably gonna segue into something else. Um,
Mm.
like I said, that's the issue with society. We want to sugarcoat stuff. We want to try to handle people's feelings with too much care sometimes. And sometimes you just got to be honest with it. You just wasn't my cup of tea. We've all been rejected before. We all have.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that just really can't handle the truth. They'll be like, nah, that ain't it. I'm like, no, I told you I wasn't interested. It wasn't for the fact that I'm at work all the time. I told you I wasn't interested anymore.
Right.
Like what?
But did you really say it though?
That part.
Did you really say it?
Now I ain't gonna front. Hold on. Now I ain't gonna front. Shadana said something earlier about her childhood traumas and communication and all that stuff. With me, I'm two ways. I'm going to tell you, but if I respect your feelings, I am gonna handle it with care. If I don't care about your feelings no more, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you about yourself now. Facts. I'm just gonna do that, and it's gonna be the end all be all. But you gonna know with me, because I'm like, I get a lot of people sometimes with women in general. Sometimes they feel like that. I'm talking in riddles sometimes, and my thing about it is, I get too many details, and I say that to say I want you to know exactly where I'm coming from, so you don't misconstrue anything that I'm telling you.
So you write a whole essay. You write a whole essay and then you was
4 page later, like a woman and all that stuff.
what you need to do is write it down in the synopsis. You need to break it down to a synopsis. Like, that's too long. A whole essay is too long. You done lost me.
Now, with that being said, all jokes aside, there is one female, she told me that sometimes. She's like, man, just spit it out. Sometimes you can't. Because I don't want to leave no room for misinterpretation. That's my thing. I want you to know exactly. But that is something that I do need to work on, though. Straight to the team.
Oh no, you sound all right with me, bro.
Not to be out here writing a whole essay, and then the only thing she hearing is she's probably hearing like the good things. You're probably saying like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I don't like this, but I like this. She heard that. I hate this, I don't like this, but I like this. She heard that. She didn't hear all the other stuff that you didn't like because you done wrote a whole 4-page letter and closed with a kiss when all you had to do was write a synopsis.
Now, with that being said, there's also a term too that's called kiss the scene. Don't address all the issues at one time. You got to pick and choose on what it is that you really want to talk about. But like I said, whenever we talk about this losing interest, man, sometimes you just gotta call it what it is, man. Like, it just ain't gonna work. Like with my lifestyle within the past year or so, I did a lot of travel. So, as far as dating is concerned with me, it's hard. Like, especially if a woman's primary love language is quality time. Man, you better come get on this road. Let me book this ticket or whatever, man. When you offer whatever, I'm like, you got to get in where you fit in. But with that being said, I just feel like that we as people make stuff way more difficult than what it really
what it's supposed to be. Right.
I agree.
Like it's not.
Right.
It's not.
And sometimes you don't have to take everything personal. Like that's my problem.
Right.
Like, just because I feel this way, that's not saying that you a bad person. That's just how I feel.
It's not the person for me.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Chasi, you was gonna say something about the comments. Sorry.
Oh, I was just one of the ladies, Starlet, she said that men don't like conflict. That's why they ghost.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree with it.
Really?
You know how many men say happy wife, happy life when they really don't agree with stuff. I'm just saying.
We be talking about that on the podcast, and I be hearing it all the time still, man. I'm just like, no. Because y'all say happy wife, happy life. I say a happy husband bring home more loving, man.
So that's right.
Two-way street, man. I'm like, it's a two-way street. That's what I keep saying. I'm like, I put it to you like this. If women don't like, if women hate this social norm that they're trying to do now about women for men, then y'all got to get out of this habit of, in order to have a successful relationship, it's all about the woman. I'm like, no, it's not. That's the reason why women fight themselves start to ask this question: why do men cheat? Because you start to think that everything is about you at the end of the day. It's how can I put it? On one hand, I know that women sometimes they want to show you love on how they want to be loved. But if that's not that man's love language, you're wasting your time. Everything
Right.
is based upon the love languages. That's how you
Right.
gonna get your point across.
Right.
So
You know, it's funny
I'm
because I
like,
actually we was talking, it was a couple episodes ago, but we was talking about cheating, and I was saying that I actually understood why a lot of men cheat. Because I said that a lot of women think that they are doing everything right, and they're not doing everything right. And they think that their shit don't stink, and sometimes it does stink. Like, and I think I honestly think that as women, a lot of the times we want the world to revolve around us. I don't see nothing wrong with it, but we do. And and we think that we're not doing anything wrong. We think that we're doing everything right. And but we're not, and we're not meeting that man's love language, and that's why he's out there doing what he's doing, because his love language is not being met. I honestly agree with that.
But that could go
I
vice
cooked,
versa.
I cleaned, I did all this stuff. I rubbed his feet when
But that
he
also goes hand in hand with men that think that I provide for this house. You provide to me happy.
Shadonna said she ain't rubbing nobody's feet.
I ain't rubbing no feet.
damn feet.
Look, if y'all get your feet
you better get
done,
in there,
sure.
brother, Chris feet,
But y'all
bro.
don't like to get your feet done.
No, I don't rub some
No,
feet
don't touch
before.
my feet.
Man,
Nah,
mine
I'm good
pretty,
on
man.
that, man.
So it is what it is.
I'm gonna be sitting right
good, but I
beside me at
still-
the
nah,
nail
I'm
place.
I done did some feet before. I was in love with that man. I did everything for him.
There you go. Talk that talk. Talk that talk.
I
He used
might
to do
rub
mine
him.
too, though.
I might rub them, but I
clipped them,
ain't none of this
cleaned them,
getting near them.
sawed it
Ain't none
down.
of
I did everything.
And then, all
this.
Stupid.
Oh man, but I do agree about the love language quiz because me and my spouse did that.
Yeah.
And he actually thought that I just wasn't putting him first or things of that nature, and we found out that our love language is completely opposite. So surprisingly or not, quality time is last on my list, and it's first on his.
Wow.
Let me guess.
You're rare. Oh, wow.
Right. I am very rare. So he thought maybe I just wasn't putting him first, and it wasn't that. It's just because that's not first on my mind. I thought I was showing love because I made sure the house is clean, dinner's cooked, bills is paid, the kids is good, and I thought that me doing all of those things, putting that kind of stuff first, was showing my love to him. And he was like, no, you don't ever want to spend no time with me. And it wasn't the case. It's just that it wasn't first thought on my mind. First on my list was acts of service. So I'm more turned on if I come home and dinner is cooked. I'm more turned on if you over there doing the homework with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And he thought quality time. So the love language is super important. Like, it don't fix everything, of course, but it gives you a better understanding of,
all right, so question. So with that being said, how often does he cook dinner for the family? Do the homework with the kids and all stuff before you get home? No.
You ain't gotta put me on the spot like that.
Being funny. No.
He definitely.
I'm saying that to say, okay.
Go ahead.
The reason why I'm saying that is if he want the quality time from you, that's what he has to do. If he's allowed the time to do all of this stuff, go ahead and do it before you get home.
Right.
And that way he can get your undivided attention later on.
Right. Well, he
Right.
has a better understanding of that now, and he definitely tries way harder to do those things than he used to, because he knows that's what I like. So us doing that quiz actually got us on the same page of, because I think he may have thought either quality time was first on my list or receiving gifts was first on my list, and neither one of them was. They was both last.
Okay.
So it gave us a better understanding than what we had. So even though I still struggle with the quality time part, I have to put way more thought into it, because I'm always fully involved in church and work and the kids and blase, and I have a bad habit of putting that last. And
I got you.
It does get a better understanding.
So we're basically saying love language is something that should definitely be talked about in relationships.
Yes.
Like without a question.
Without a question.
Right. I think it should be like first date type of thing.
Wow.
To be
I don't know
honest,
about first date.
I
I
get it.
don't know about first date.
no,
but-
it needs to be discussed because a lot of
I
people
agree
go
with that.
into relationships and don't know their partner's love language, and then
Right.
they fall in love with each other and go and get
Right.
married and all this kind of stuff, and then they're unhappy because they didn't know each other's love language because everybody was putting on the front until they got in their house together and they done
Right.
signed the paper. So now
Right.
everything that came off, the makeup
True.
that came off and everything. So now
Right.
this is who I am, this is who you are, and we're not meeting each other's needs because we didn't discuss this.
Yeah.
I should know that
Right.
you like acts of service, and that's something that I can't give you. And so I'm just going to leave this alone because I'm not going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Wow.
And I
Okay.
agree with
You
that.
don't
I
even
don't know.
know
If,
See you on that.
anymore.
yeah, I agree with that. I don't know about first date because you gotta figure out if you like the person
Okay,
first.
second.
But I do agree that it either comes early on, because what if acts of service is first on her list, but you just ain't a man that's gonna do that stuff. So now you put in an awkward position because she agitated all the time, and you one of those men that think that women that's like, which gender roles is a big thing. Some people think half and half. Some people say they think half and half, but really think the woman supposed to do all the cooking and cleaning. Like, so all of that,
Right.
that quiz brings all of that stuff out early on, so you can even know if it's for you.
Which is why it should be done the first damn date. We don't need to take it past this. We went out to eat. We had a good time. We took a quiz. We found out something new about ourselves. Let's
Right.
keep it moving.
Right.
Tashana, send me that quiz, dog.
I will.
I definitely agree
I
with
will.
you.
Go ahead, Finnell.
Oh no, basically I was saying I agree with Chaz at the end of the day. That's something I'm like, I'm with that on the first date, man. Like, talk about it. Like, don't have them surface level type of comments. Like, even like I noticed that there is a lot of women that say that I'm not going out with you anyway if I don't have some type of rapport with you anyway. So if that's the case, you already passed all the what's your favorite color and all that type of stuff. I'm like, man, talk about it. Get to the knee deep stuff, man. Talk about that. Because it saves you a lot of time and wasted time
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
down the line. All that stuff.
Right.
But you know what?
But so-
I think we stay optimistic a lot too. Like
Yeah.
we can know
Facts.
that. You know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
we're like, I don't know. I think I can work with it. And then it starts getting on your
Yeah.
nerves, and then
You're
it falls
lying
apart.
to yourself. You're lying to
Yeah,
yourself.
you learn.
Let me So earlier I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw this. I'm glad that you said that. So I saw a post that Zane had posted, and she's doing some kind of she's doing something with a psychologist. And the psychologist said, most of the time, a man marries a woman's representative, and the woman marries a man's potential.
That's facts.
And I thought that was interesting.
True.
That's
True.
facts.
Very true.
That's facts.
Very true.
But we really wrong about marrying somebody with potential, because then you setting yourself up for failure. Because then you mad at them because they never met that. But it was on you in the first place because you was expecting it. Like
right. True.
Right. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Honestly, there's actually I co-sign that 110%. That's something that we were talking about on the podcast, I believe on the week before last. We were talking about that's the biggest issue in relationships now today, is the fact that we fall in love with potential, and then, like you said, we always meeting somebody's representative. It's one of the things you got to have these conversations. You got to. Don't sit here and we go get into this relationship or this marriage and come to find out, I'm like, I used to think that you used to love to play video games with, and you only did it because you wanted to spend quality time with me. I'm like,
that's real.
We don't play Call of Duty no more. Like, I ain't never like playing Call of Duty. That's why you were dying all the time, man. I'm like, so I gotta revive you in zombies all the time, so you want to play. But I'm just saying,
bro, you deep in, bro. He said that's why you was dying all the time on the game.
Yeah, that's why you were dying all the time. I mean, you can't play anyway, but I'm saying that the same. You gotta have the conversation, because I mean, it'd be the same way. It'd be the same way for the women. Oh, I'm like, I used to think you used to love going to painting, sipping, wine tasting, and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't like to drink. I ain't even no drinker, man. Like, what you talking about? I was going to go with you. So I'm like, okay, you got to be honest.
Right. And a lot of people ask me all the time, like, what advice would you give me, in my relationship? And I tell Chasi all the time, like, have that serious conversation, second day in. What do you feel about the finances? How do you feel like the kids should be handled? Do you feel like we should go 50-50? What do you feel about me having male friends? Like, have that serious, deep conversation so you would know off gate. Like, a lot of people find out these answers after they done got engaged or married or living together. And it's too late then. Like,
it's too late.
Now you in love and you in love with the wrong person.
That disciplinary thing with children too, that's a big one.
Right.
Oh, hell
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of those, like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I got my AB. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not gonna sit here and watch you tell little Timmy go to timeout every 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
I'm sending my kids to timeout.
I'm not with that.
But a lot of us give our agent in that first date. And that's the problem. And that's men and women. I ain't even saying, like, that's men and women. Women going, getting up in the morning the next day after they done had their little nightcap and putting on their little makeup and their rosy cheeks. Like, that ain't how you look in the morning.
That ain't you.
Who does that? Honey, you gonna see this hair up in a bonnet with the makeup smeared. I am not about to get up early to put on some makeup to be cute for you. You messed it up, you gonna see it.
But but real talk though. I'm like, there was a woman. I don't even remember who it was. Like I said, boy, there's been a lot in my past. That's neither here nor there. But there was somebody. There's a lot of women that sometimes they be like, man, I ain't get my hair done or whatever. I ain't dolled up. I'm like, okay, about you being dolled up. I'm like, I want to see what you look like in your natural state. Not saying that I don't like you being, your makeup and all this stuff. I'm just saying I don't care because you putting yourself, you setting yourself up for something that you can't maintain later on down the road anyway. It's not realistic for you to have makeup all day from sun up to sundown, man. I'm like, no. So come on out, put the sweats on, put the J's on. Come on, let's go. That's it.
Right. Facts.
Agreed.
Let's deep dive into that a little bit. So men will say that. They will say that exact comment. But then, even though I know that social media is not life, but it is life. A lot of people live their life on social media. So you hear men say exactly what you just said, but then you see men on social media liking the women that have the makeup on all day, that got the weave in, that got the fake ass and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's what women see. So then women go out and want to portray that because they're like, why am I single? And I'm here being homely. I got my hair up in my ponytail, no makeup on, all this kind of stuff. And I can't get a man, but she's out here with her fake ass and fake titties and her makeup and her wig, and she got a
man. But honestly though, like, it's good. Like, guys will get on Instagram and like those pictures all day long, but we won't wife anything like that. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you can look good all day long, but in my mind, I'm like, well, if you look that, and not saying that you're not supposed to look good, but when you taking pictures of your ass, you know what I'm saying, all day long, you know what I'm saying, we know what kind of attention you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wife anything like that because I gotta constantly be like, man, I'm saying like 2 zillion people liking your photos on Instagram, and they're always looking at you. You know what I'm saying, your backside and stuff like that. I don't want to wipe that. So it's a difference. What I'm saying is there's a difference between what we may like and what we may get in a relationship with. That's me. That's 2 different things.
That's a fact.
I understand that, but don't y'all see why that could be confusing?
But a lot of women don't see that.
Finnell, you got this, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Hey man, right about now, I do not think that I can say it was right now. Because I mean, the fact of the matter is, you just told the truth. And there's nobody in my circle that I know that likes the obvious fake behind. Yeah. I'm like, all them little implants and stuff, we don't. Right. It comes into honestly, I believe like it's what the media be making a portrayal of us at the end of the day. It's the whole strip club culture took over. And that's what they want to give off that impression that that's what the men like. I can honestly say there's nobody in my circle that says, yes, I need that. I'm like, it's not. It's about the natural look. Now, as far as what Chaz was saying, I can't lie. Like, I can understand why y'all feel that way. I honestly can, but I don't know any men. Not unless they young. The little young boys just coming up in the military or something like that. That they be up in the strip club from sun up to sundown. I want to be rap star. I know that's what they into. But as far as real men, no.
Yeah. We not wifing them.
No. I mean, to go back to what Matt said,
where they at?
We not wifing them. None of that
stuff. Facts. Oh man. Yeah, social media is definitely like, it's a gift and a curse at the end of the day. A lot of us even me, I'm guilty of, I might feel like crap that day, but you ain't gonna know in my picture that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think if we all is all around, if we all could be more honest with ourselves and within the public, then it would down a lot of the confusion. But it happens on both parts. It happens on women. A lot of those women who are taking those big booty pictures or whatever, they not happy. But they feel like if they post it and they get some attention, then that'll make me happy. And that's not the case. And vice versa. A lot of men, if they would represent more of what they like, the more natural woman, the more whatever the case may be, then women may not post those pictures. I mean, some of them are, because that's what it can be. But I feel like it goes both ways. Like, I feel like we both could do better as far as how we represent ourselves and being real.
True.
Now, honestly, I'm gonna say this, and this is definitely going to segue into what y'all brought me here tonight for anyway. So I noticed that I've been told that when a lot of women be wearing these wigs and the eyelashes and be getting all the implants anyway, y'all not doing it for us to begin with.
This is true.
I don't want to say that y'all doing it to compete with other women, but I'm saying that to say that's where a lot of men be confused. Why are y'all doing all this stuff if it's not to appease us? Who are you doing it for? Because
to appease ourselves.
No.
To appease ourselves.
That sounds good, but somebody. Hold on. Now that sounds good, but there's a lot of times that I be looking. I'm like, it's not like.
Right.
I believe, honestly, from my opinion, and we're gonna keep it there. I ain't gonna say fact. We're gonna say opinion. I believe it goes back to the whole Kevin Samuels thing. It's about when you start to look at the media. Like I said, no, hold on.
No, for real, go ahead.
About to reel it in. When you start to look at the athletes, the music stars and all that type of stuff, and that's all that it seems like they be wifing up. It's the strippers, the only, the Instagram models, the porn stars, all that stuff. That's who they are clinging on to. These are the women that are getting the top 10% in the world. So with that being said, that's why a lot of these women are going out here with these noticeably out of shape, big butts at the end of the day. The wigs and all that stuff.
You were not talking about their asses. They pay money for their ass. Let them be happy with their ass.
Making payments and stuff.
Yeah, making payments, Flex Pay, Klarna, all that stuff, man. Apple Pay, I'm like, but that's the point. They're not doing it for themselves. I'm like, they're trying to get chose at the end of the day. I can't hate them for
That's what I was going to say. Because that's what society presented, though.
Right.
Like, that society has said, like, this is how you're supposed to look if you're a woman going out. You know what I'm saying? Put the makeup on, put the eyelashes on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but how many times have you heard women complain about doing it, but then still do it? They don't even like to do it, but they're going to do it because they don't want to be seen as the outcast of what society's supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what you're supposed to look like on social media. This is what you're supposed to look like when you go out. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to keep doing it because you're not that you're not comfortable with your natural self. Because I'm with Finnell. Like, I like a natural girl. You know what I'm saying? Good long hair. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got short hair, nice short hair. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what is nice short hair?
Now, hold on.
Let me see y'all
being safe. Halle Berry in the night. But
there we go. Yes, sir.
I don't want you. I don't want you to put words in my mouth to try to say that I like natural women. Cause that ain't what I said. Cause you know,
Okay.
I don't want no social media vet, but
Respect.
I love women. I love women in general. So my thing about it is, you want to have short hair one day, and then you want to turn around and throw a wig on the next day. You want to be no makeup, runs around the house one day, and you want to get dolled the next. I'm accustomed to that. So I know I may not know what I'm gonna get from one day to the next, but that's you. So my thing about it is, I'm like, it boils down to the personality. But with that being said, I just had this conversation earlier about Aisha Curry. And I remember that when she was getting dragged on social media for her comments that she used to make about, she was like the old fashioned wife or whatever, and that she ain't got to be half naked on Instagram and all this stuff to get attention. And then she turned around and flip flop, and then she lost the weight, and then it seemed like she was searching for that attention. I don't necessarily want to call that an insecurity, but it goes to that stigma that society places. And like, she know who her husband is. I'm like,
right.
There was a lot of men that were trying to claim, I'm like, oh, she just want to be for the streets and she just want to be seen. It could be true. We don't know. But on the outside looking in, that can just be a woman who everybody wants to feel wanted. It ain't even about wanting, it ain't even necessarily about wanting the attention from somebody else per se, but it's like feel that, you walk out the house like, I know men do it, because I just had a conversation earlier, sometimes we want to go hang out with the boys and see if we still got it. It don't necessarily mean that we trying to cheat or nothing, but get a fresh haircut, like I got a first one today. I'm like, there's nothing that feel better than when a woman says, oh yeah, boy, you look fly today. Yeah, same way with the women. Yeah, y'all get that little sexy black or red dress on, throw the heels on, go out with the girls, and it feels good when a guy might say something, buy you a drink. You don't want it's innocent. Even though you're not trying to put that energy out there, but you just want to feel good for the night. And that's what it is sometimes. But
I agree with that.
I just know that Kevin Samuels, a lot of the company, now I agree with a lot of stuff that he says per se, but it be
just the way he says it though, man. The way he says it is crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the fact of it's how you convey your message. Now, some of them, I'm not gonna front. I watch a lot of his episodes, and the women do be asking for it. But this is my thing about the men. With the men, it's one of them things that you can't sit here like a lot of average men. Let's just say that a lot of men that make 40 grand and below, that get on social media and they want to clown these other women on the regular basis, like, oh, he putting them in their place. He put them in their place. He's not riding for you at the end of the day. You got one stream of income, and we ain't even gonna say one. You probably got half of, because you don't have to want to show up for work on a regular basis. So I'm like, you don't have any other desirable traits in order for women to flock to you. It ain't like you got any stock options. It ain't like that you driving the Benz that's in this decade and none of that type of stuff. Like, you basic, you average. He's talking about the people that's making over 100 grand easily a year. He's talking about the athletes and the music stars and all this stuff. But with that being said, it's all on a superficial level. You can't sit here and tell these women that just because that she her dress size is a size 16, that she's not desirable, or that she's not what's the word? Her physical stature won't allow her to wear a size 16. That's a lie. I'm like, everything just boils down to assumptions. So you can't pass that off as facts. But the bottom line is there's somebody for everyone. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that some of these women expectations are not unrealistic, because a lot of them, I'm like, no, they really do. I'm like, you got to stay in your lane. You can't sit here and, you on a food stamp budget, but you want somebody with a filet mignon lifestyle, man. I'm like, no, what are you really doing to attract that? So that's the thing that's his issue. He don't know how to come across with his message. But I personally know a lot of these women. I be looking, I'm just like, that ain't true. But with that being said, I know a lot of women may look at me too and be like, you ain't there yet either. But I'm like, I'm working myself up there.
They might be working themselves there too.
Right. My problem with him is that I don't think it's fair. My problem with him is I don't think it's fair across the board. I feel like like the episode where me and Chastity talked about and we got just dragged through the dirt. But this woman was saying that she wants a man that makes the same salary as her. She owned her own business. She made $100,000 a year at least at minimum. She was just saying, I want somebody who makes $100,000 with me because, you know, I've dated men that make less than me. It don't work out, blase, blase. And he drug her through the dirt. He related the fact that she wanted somebody on the same level as her with the fact that she wasn't a 10. And my first thought was,
but
every man that here got money ain't a 10 either. Like, you act like every man with money is a 10. And they not.
Listen, I don't like Kevin Samuels. And I ain't gonna say I don't like him. I don't agree with a lot of the way that he says things. I ain't gonna say I don't agree with him.
Right,
it's how he says the way that he says things. However, for her to be a fan, she went on that episode thinking that she was going to get a different response than what the $35,000 a year woman got, and she got the same response, and she was mad at the end of the day. She was an average $100,000 woman, just like that $35,000 a year woman was average, and she was mad because she thought just because she made $70,000 more that she was a 10. At the end of the day,
she never said she was a 10. She never said she was pretty. She just said she wanted somebody to make the same amount of money as her. He the one took it to the looks. She did not. Let's be clear.
So you said, wait, Shadon. So you said,
go ahead, Go ahead.
You said she said that the relationship she was in with guys that made less than that didn't work out because they made less than $100,000. Is that what she was saying?
She didn't break down why that was the case, but let's be real. If
a
lot of men, if they make less than women, it causes problems. Let's just be real. Like, most men want to be the head of the household. Most men want to be the one in charge.
That's ego, though.
I understand that. I understand that.
That's ego.
So she probably just hadn't met the right man. So I'm not saying that you know, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying he related the fact that she wanted somebody that made the same as her with her looks and the fact that she was a single parent. He was like,
she also did not surround herself with people that made $100,000. That lady was full of shit at the end of the day, and she wanted a damn trophy for her having her own business and making $100,000. And he read her just like he read everybody else, and she thought that it was going to be different because she makes 6 figures.
And honestly, I got to go back and watch the episode because I know the episode y'all talking about. I'm like, and honestly, she wasn't a 6. To me, she was about a 3, to be honest with you.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I ain't gonna agree or disagree. I understand. I'm not gonna agree or disagree. I understand that part. But she didn't say I want a fine rich man. She just said I want a man that make what I make. That's all she said.
Right.
But being said, that goes to what Chad said. What are you doing to put yourself in position? And I'm like, if I remember correctly, Chaz was correct. I'm like, it seemed like she wanted a pat on the back. Like, man, I got my own business. I'm bringing in $100,000. Like, they ought to be flocking.
She want to be worship or something like that. Yeah.
I'm like, as far as men go, I'm like, we don't care about your money. And that's the stuff that some women don't be understand what Kevin Samuels be talking about. We don't care about your money. We don't care about your money. Because at the end of the day, a real man at the end of the day, he's going to be trying to focus on what he can do to go get his own. So it ain't about like what you bring to the table financially. I'm like, not unless we don't call them beta males. We call them undeveloped men. And basically, just for me personally, I can't let a woman out hustle me. And that's not to say that I'm looking at a woman as being inferior. I'm saying that if that woman works the full ass 9 to 5, 40 plus hours a week, I'm going to go work 40 plus hours a week, and I'm going to go work more. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I can't, man. I'm like, what? Like, I just don't understand how men can sit here and let these women, like, you see this woman up here. I ain't even say struggling because I don't want to use that negative connotation. I'm going to say, you see her hustling. You can't match her hustle? Like, really?
Right.
There's too many ways out here.
I agree with that.
To out here to be broke, man. I'm like, what?
Like, go ahead, Matt.
Church said amen.
And we had a conversation with one of my close, I'm gonna call him a brother. On the podcast, we spoke about that. As far as being an alpha male, man, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's cool to say about the whole 50-50 thing and you teamwork and partnership and all this stuff, but I'm like, I can't be in a position where my woman got to go work 2 jobs so we can make ends meet, man. I'm like, no,
Yeah, that's
I say, I'll put it to you like this. I say that to say this. If you got the time to be up in somebody's little dusty club, and if you got time to go cheat, you got time to go punch work, bro. Man, you got time to go cut some grass, pressure wash some house, wash some cars. You got plenty of time to go make some extra money, man.
Do something.
You're just making an excuse. You don't want to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. That's why I'm single now.
That's what separates the boys from the men, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta. I think real men have that built into their DNA, where like you can't watch a woman out hustle you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not even about competition. It's not about making more money. But like me personally, I'm not gonna feel comfortable if my woman's working 2 or 3 jobs and I'm on the couch working my one job. You know what I'm saying? My little part time. You know what I'm saying? And playing games the rest of the day. Like morally, like that I don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I get it.
All right. So it's a point. I asked this woman, I don't ever ask a woman about her finance, or should I say, I don't ask her how much she makes. But y'all know, in order to, move into an apartment or whatever, you're supposed to make 3 times the rent. Right. So when this woman was telling me that her rent to move in here was X, Y, Z, I was like, shoot, so you must be making some money. She's like, I do all right, but there's a lot of people at my company that does a whole lot more. So my thing is, it got my gears turned. I was working at Sprint at the time, and I'm like, I did decent. But my thing about it is, I said, if I want to be the man in her life, I got to step it up. Meaning that I can't expect, I can't diminish her life just to try to make me look better. So I'm like, I got to know, this is where she is by herself. So if I want to be the man in her life, I got to either be there or I got to go surpass. And with the way I'm set up, I'm going to go surpass. So, but that's the thing that a lot of men, I'm not going to say fear. I'm just going to say that's where the ego come into play. They feel like, oh man, she made more than me and all that type of stuff. I feel like I can't wear the pants. But the bottom line is we all got the same 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with yours?
Yep.
I'm like, it won't like that. Some of this stuff was handed to the woman. I'm like, she was grinding for it. What work did you put in? What work are you continuing to put in? All that stuff, man. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
I'm low-key happy that you said what you said, because you basically said what we be saying, but people think that we're men bashing, and we're not. And I think, like you said, we got the same 24 hours in a day, but a lot of the times women or parents, they're usually I'll say the main parent. Even if they're in a relationship or single, they're the ones that take the kids to school, pick them up from school, make sure they got their homework done, make sure they got clothes the next day, make sure they got food to eat and all this kind of stuff. The man might provide the food, but the woman is the one that's usually cooking it. The man might provide the clothes, but the woman's the one that's making sure it's clean and they got them on and all this kind of stuff. And we're doing all this as well as having 2 and 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. And then you wonder why we're not happy and why we're upset and why we're saying men ain't shit and all this kind of stuff. It's because at the end of the day, we have the same 24 hours, but I'm doing for 2 people or 3 people if I got more than one child, and you're just doing for yourself.
Right.
Like that shit is hard. And I don't think that, not saying that I don't get it, I don't think that a lot of men really honestly understand that. And a lot of men say that they provide for their family and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You provide for the family, but what else? What else are you doing besides providing? You're working, you're bringing income into the house, but are you making sure the clothes are washed? Are you making sure they're ironed? Are you making sure food is thawed out? Like there's so many things that women do that I don't even think that men realize that women do. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, a lot of us have multiple jobs. because we trying to make sure that the household is held up and all this kind of stuff. Me personally, I refuse to work 2 jobs ever again in my life. And if I'm with somebody and I feel like I have to work more than 1 job, we don't need to be together. And I'm not going to be with you. That's something that I had.
But you know how many a lot of men would bash you for saying it?
I know, but I've been the person that worked 3 jobs.
Just being real.
I worked 3 jobs and had my kids. I went to work from 7 o'clock in the morning and probably didn't see them until the next damn morning. And my babysitter, like literally, the woman that babysat my kids whenever they was younger, she literally raised them for me because I worked so much. And I honestly feel like I worked just to pay her. At the end of the day, that's all that I did. And I was like, I refuse to do that again. And I had a whole man in the house, like.
And honestly, with that being said, I'm like, that's the stuff that we be talking about. That's why we be trying to hold these men accountable. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna say this again. What are you doing in your 24 hours where you can't go make enough money to make sure that your wife, if you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, you ain't got to be. But that's where society has got us now, where we got to have a 2-parent income. And most of the time, what you bring to the table, it is going to daycare. You're only making enough to pay the daycare. So I'm like, Amanda, step up.
Yeah.
I'm a man, and I'm telling you, there is nothing wrong with what you just said as far as in, I'm not going to do it. If I got to go out here and go get another job in order to make this work, nah, man, you can get the step. And I salute you wholeheartedly with that.
Facts.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Agreed.
And that's what a lot of women, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of women, but some women really don't, I'm trying to word this correctly. Sometimes women don't really care about how much money you make, but it's like Chastity said, it's because you're not picking up anywhere else. That's the issue. Like some men have it in their mind. They have an old school mentality and don't even realize it. They allow the women to take on the responsibility of all the household, all the bills, with the kids, teacher conferences, whatever the case may be, but also expect her to work and come home and do what she got to do with him, and vice versa. Like sometimes you make less money than us, but if you picking up the weight of the house, that's all that matters. Like, like it's not because we just think all of a sudden you got to make more money than us, but sometimes we have to have the expectation because you ain't gonna do nothing else. Like, just to be real. Man, just to be real, like if I gotta do all that household stuff, at least you can do is pay most of the bills. Let's just be honest.
Honestly, okay, so I'm pretty sure y'all seen the little meme floating around with Wade. He made a comment that he don't lead his marriage and all that type of stuff. Now, so with that being said, I got a close friend by the name of Reese. I met him when I was living in Missouri, and I'm saying that to say this because there was a lot of stuff that got misconstrued on my page last night. And I seen a comment that somebody said that. Yeah, I mean, because somebody made a comment that, I don't leave my marriage either. Like, I want my wife to be beside me and all that type of stuff. And I didn't comment because I ain't feel like going back and forth, man. You know, I'm going to play the game or whatever. I ain't got time. So I say that to say this. So Reese and his wife, Reese had a felony. I don't want to tell all his business, but, I'm just trying to go out here and, share the story. So at one point when we were living in South Dakota, his wife made more money than him. So in order to cut back on the bills and stuff, he sat in the house, cooked, cleaned, make sure the kids got off of school, took them to school, picked them up, the whole nine. He did all that. So with that being said, that man, I applauded him that. He was still the man of the household in my eyes because the bottom line is he said, okay, we gonna make this decision together. You make more money than me. You ain't got a felony. You can go get a better paying job than I can. Until I can find something, I'll let you hold that down. So they did the whole role reversal thing. It went up in flames because the wife didn't, she didn't want to wear them pants no more. She could. So he just said, all right, I'm going to do what I got to do. And he stepped up. And he went and found something better and put it in a better house and all this stuff. So I'm just saying that to say, It ain't always about the money that you put. It ain't always about the money that you putting on the table. It's about what are you doing to put your family in a better position.
Right.
That makes you the head of the household. Makes you lead. Because sometimes you gonna have to submit. And a lot of people look at that submission and all this stuff as in a sign of weakness. But sometimes to me, submit means fall back sometimes. You gotta let somebody else. Like not Reese. Rome, your knee is on the live right now. And he's one of them too. He did the same thing for his wife or whatever. He put them in a position to get to where they are now. He went overseas, did contract work, all this type of stuff, trying to hold down the family. So now she owns her own in-home daycare and all that type of stuff. It's one of them things about you got to pick and choose on what are we gonna do as a man to get my family where I want them to be. Sometimes she got to be in front of me. Sometimes she got to be beside me. Sometimes you got to be behind me. But y'all got to have that understanding. But you got to be a strong alpha male at the end of the day to handle that. Because sometimes you don't always have the answers. You don't always have the right answers. Your way is not always the right way at the end of the time too. So you got to pick and choose on when to fall back sometimes.
Okay, Finnell. I'm surprised.
And that was my point. That you just summed up the point that I was making. Like, I feel like a lot of the times we fall too much into gender roles. And number one, you got to realize what's best for your relationship and not what's best for what you think something's supposed to look like. So that was everybody else's
relationship.
Right. That was my point. Like sometimes we women say that we want a man who make more than us. We want a man that provide. We want a man that pay all the bills. But that's just because we've been in so many relationships where they don't do nothing else. That was my point. So if you don't mind, sometimes I'm going to make more money than you, but you're going to have to pick up more household items. I promise you a lot of more women would be okay with it. But they feel like they don't have that option because a lot of men don't take that role. That was my point. like we fall too much into gender roles. Right.
I
like gender roles though. I don't want to change a tire. I know how to change one, but I ain't gonna change it. I know how to mow my grass, but I don't want to do it. I want the man.
But honestly, if you have a man, I'm like, you ain't supposed to though.
Right. I mean, if you real with stuff.
I don't want to do those things either, but trust and believe I'm not keeping you around because of it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not.
I don't want to do that either. But I'm just saying, don't think that's why you here.
That's what you're supposed to do. Although I can do it, I want you to do it. I am a strong woman, but I know how to fall back whenever it comes to the grass, the oil, and the tires.
All right.
Oh man, well we had all this other stuff to show, but we already an hour and 18 minutes in, so
that's good.
We're gonna have to bring y'all back for part 2.
Hey, I'm with it.
This is a really good conversation.
It was. To close out, Chas, do you still want to do what you had said? What it was?
Yes.
What was the question?
So, what was the worst relationship advice you ever got from someone else?
Whoa.
Golly.
Gotta think about that.
Jesus Christ.
I got it. I remember. Somebody's mother told me that sometime, you know the whole Tyler Perry, the 80-20 rule. Sometimes you go put in the 80, the other person go put in the 20. She told me sometimes that 20 is gonna come with cheating and all this other stuff. I'm paraphrasing, but that's how bad it was. And I'm sitting, I'm looking at her, I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. You ain't about to be out here running the streets and all this type of stuff. And I'm at home like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, I can't do it, man. I'm like, they may work for you and your marriage and all this stuff, but as far as me, I know that what I can offer, I'm like, no, not gonna do it. She can go find another dummy for all that. I can't.
Right.
That was so many years ago that I forgot the whole entire conversation, but that's the one that sticks out to me, that she was just trying to drop some knowledge, and because I remember it started, she used to try to claim that I was trying to be this woman's dad, and I wasn't. But it goes back to as simple as this. We still had issues with finance. Not that we didn't make enough money. We had issues, okay, like my mama told me a long time ago, you know that you got issues within your relationship or your marriage whenever you're not even fighting about money. Because you know most marriages end due to finance, the struggle. So my thing is I used to tell her on a regular basis is we live in the blue collar American dream. You got a car now, I got one. I pay all the bills in the house, well, all the core bills anyway. You ain't got to worry about rent, light bill, water, all that type of stuff. Nothing. All you got to do is pay your car note. That's it. But you always finding something to complain about. It ain't never good enough. No, I'm saying that. No, I'm like, it sounds funny, but I'm saying we had this conversation. And I told her, I said, that's where this thing, I wanted to switch roles. I told her, I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you pay all these bills and we flip flop? She didn't want to do it. She like, no, you make more than me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. So respect of what I'm doing. It ain't one of them things that I'm holding something over her head and, or none of that. What it was, I wanted her to understand, okay, look, you got to be responsible. I got sickle cell. So it's not always guaranteed that I'm going to be able to wake up and go to work in the morning. So I want you to understand that. So if we fall back on hard time, can I count on you to support me in my time of need? That's what I need to know. Right. If we talking about taking this to the next level, what can I get from you that I can't get from another woman? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, so when her mama was trying to explain to me, I'm like, you trying to be a dad? I'm like, no, this is honestly, when it comes to budgeting and money, you were supposed to have been teaching her this. Cause you know when kids, you know how we was kids, we be getting allowances and all that type of stuff. To me, that was your first life lesson of budgeting money. And I remember it might not be a lot, but that was your first lesson of budgeting money. She used to tell me, "Oh, my mama, she ain't teach us X, Y, Z, blah blah blah." And I'm looking around like it's starting to make sense now. Not speaking ill will of the day. But I'm saying at the same, like, it just made sense to me. I'm like, we start to talk about these generational curses and all that type of stuff. I'm like, I can't really fault you. Well, you an adult, so I can't fault you. But I can't totally fault you. I'm like, that's how you was raised at the end of the day. She was the baby. But I'm just saying that to say, you can go play them games with somebody else. Because it ain't flying over here. And it did. So I'm just like, no, I'm not accepting that 20. Of all them bad times, especially now when we don't have to deal with it. We don't have to go through. You just want to go do stuff because you want to go do it. I'm like, nah, go find somebody else. But that's about it in a nutshell.
Now you had plenty of time to think, Matt. Your turn.
Honestly, like, to be honest with you, like, it wasn't nothing too deep, man. I know, like, even in my 30s, like, I have people that try to tell me, you know, I'm too young to settle down and they want me to live my life. And I'm like, but you still single. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no relationship, anything, nothing going for you, man. You known for running these streets, being with a whole bunch of women, whole bunch of babies and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to be that person, man. Like, I'm not like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have goals. I want a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, one more kid, not two, one more, because I got one.
Let's be clear.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, you telling me that, and I'm like almost 34 years old, man. I'm like, nah, that ain't what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live my life and do what I think is best, you know what I'm saying, to make sure my relationship is positive and it runs smoothly, man. Like, I ain't gonna be out here cheating and stuff because I'm, you know what I'm saying, in my 30s. Kind of, that doesn't make sense to me. So
Right. The one thing I used to be told all the time is that I was too independent to have a husband.
What?
I was told that by numerous older women that you too independent. Ain't no man gonna want you. You gotta know your place. You gotta be a man, be a man. And I'm like, I don't want to have to need a man. Like, of course, all of us need an opposite sex, or all of us need a partner. But I want to be able to build my own foundation, and then he adds on. I don't
Right.
Like, what's wrong with that? But I was told numerous times, you too independent. You need to know your place. You need to fix a man plate. Like, like just. So I guess that would be
Just
my worst
foolish.
advice.
He's sick. He can't fix his own plate.
That part. Now, if I'm cooking and I'm in there with the food, I'll fix a plate. I ain't saying that. But a lot of the older women I grew up around, like even if they was at a guest house, they was at the Golden Corral, whatever it was. Oh, I need to go fix his plate. Then I fix the kids' plate. Then I'm gonna fix mine. Like, we both grown.
Boy, you better get up. And these kids better get up too and come over here and hold their plate. And I ask them what they want. Anybody got time for that?
But yeah, I was told I was too independent. But what about you, Chas?
My worst advice came from my grandma. God bless her soul. I love that lady. Had it not been for her, the second one would not have been here. The second child would not have been here. So I thank her for her comment that she told me. However, she was full of shit. Y'all got a child together. Y'all need to make it work.
Honey. Mouthful.
And I was already out of there. I was out. And grandma put me back in. She put me back in because she was on her deathbed and made that comment. And I was like, I got to listen to grandma because she about to die. Here I am, 2 kids later, and I shouldn't have went back.
Wow.
I'm praying for you. Jesus Christ.
He said I'm praying for you. Mouthful. But anywho, thank you guys so much for joining us. We definitely have to bring you back for part 2 because we had like a lot more things on the agenda, but conversation was just so good. But
we
thank you.
On the agenda.
Right, we touched maybe the first little part, but thank you.
I'm gonna start calling Finnell like the professor or something like that. Like
I know somebody
was like
did
the professor on here, man.
Right, somebody made a comment and said he was in here preaching. Which is true. But thank you. We'll definitely bring you guys back. Thanks for everybody who's been watching. Please, if you're on here, please go like our Facebook page, Occasionally Posh. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can always hear these podcasts via most audio platforms: Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, you name it. We own most of all of it. So thank you.
Y'all go make some comments on our Apple so that we can get our star rating up. Come on. Come on,
but thank you. Guys, don't go nowhere yet, but we are going to come on Facebook. So thank you for joining in, and bye-bye.